Welcome to Sketchbook Play Date episode number 12, a series I created to help you fill the pages of your sketchbook, build your skills, and most importantly, have fun while making art. I am really excited for today's project because this one, man, is it full of surprises. Today, we are diving into one of my favorite playful projects from Painting Happiness by Terry Runyan. Ready to play? Okay, let's get into it. To start, we are just painting simple blobby shapes. And I think the best thing I can say at this point is to not think bird when you're painting these. Like, in fact, try not to think that much at all. I like to go for really basic shapes like circles, ovals, rounded rectangles. If you really want to loosen up, you can use a larger brush or kind of keep your hand loose or further up the paintbrush. This part of the process is really all about letting go and just relaxing and making random marks on the page. Terry's instructions in the book are very simple, just paint some blobs. And I think that is intentional on her part because the point of this is to open the door for more exploration and imagination. While I painted, I mostly focused on color. And I was kind of thinking about what color combos feel fun, which ones spark a little bit of joy when they are together. And I'm not a color expert or anything, but I do know what colors I like, and I tend to use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, because I think they are gonna mesh well together. In art, this is called an analogous color scheme. But above all, remember, we are not aiming for perfection in this section. We are just inviting play to enter the chat and take it one blob at a time. So don't think bird, just think blob. And now that we have our blobs, it is time to suggest some little bird features. If you haven't started painting these already, I kind of did it by accident. I think I started thinking bird on accident and then started painting beaks and things. But if you haven't already, feel free to start adding some very vague suggestions of wing shapes or beaks or maybe a little oval or half circle on the top for a head. But seriously, don't stress about bird anatomy. You can this doesn't need to be anatomically correct, and this project is so not about going for realism. We're really here to just get you warmed up and get the creativity flowing. Okay, now it's time to let our blob birds dry completely before moving on to the next step. And if you've seen my sketchbook playdates before, you know this is my time to get a little dance break in. But if dancing's not your thing, grab a snack, get some water, and stare at your painting until it dries. This is actually one of the times that I'm thankful that I cannot share the copyright music that I was listening to when I filmed this, because I was belting out a lovely rendition of Almost There from The Princess and the Frog, and editing it back, boy, I cannot sing. Lots of passion here, but no talent. So be thankful that you cannot hear this right now because it is bad. Now the real fun can begin, and that is when we bring these blob birds to life. Terry suggests pen and ink for this part of the project, but I've been using pen and ink so much lately, so I opted for colored pencils instead. If choosing color feels overwhelming, I suggest sticking to one tool or medium, maybe a single pen or a marker. Really the key here is to just stick to one color for your details if you're overwhelmed by color. So for the eyes, Terry recommends using a white paint pen, which I decided to use, but when I was adding these eyeballs onto my birds, my paint pen kind of exploded here on this pudgy little blue guy. So now he has really big owl eyes, and I'm just gonna roll with it. So I just want to remind you, if something happened, paint splattered, or your colored pencil broke and made you do a weird wonky line, just like embrace the mistake and just run with it. Like, this is just your sketchbook. You're going to turn the page and move on with your life tomorrow. If you are using color pencils like me and you want a little bit of color direction, I would say choose a lighter or darker color of the one that's in your bird. So for example, if your bird is mostly green, then go for a dark green pencil to add that detail, or a very light like lime green pencil if it's very dark part of the bird. And that way it will keep things feeling cohesive and together. Another tip during this part of the project is to know that you don't have to outline everything. And obviously you can. Like, if that's your vibe and that's the style you're going for, you just want outlines on everything, like, go ham and do that. But just know that you don't have to, because I feel like a little bit of detail really goes a long way. And here I just do enough to suggest like a wing or a beak or a little bit of feathers. Like, you're really kind of just giving your viewers' imagination something to grab onto, and then that creates a curiosity loop, and then their brain fills in the rest of that loop. So really that's what gets like a viewer's attention hooked on your subject. This is also where I started playing with the, I guess you can call it hair or like head feathers. And I added really fun, cute little like Dr. Seuss style curls and some like jaggedy feathers at the top. And I kind of feel like very similar to what I always hear animators say about when they animate like Simba's ears, or, you know, there's so much emotion in those feathers on the head, and you can either make a bird look crazy or like laid back, or you know what I mean? There's a lot to be had with those head feathers. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to keep continuing on here, adding little details like legs and feathers. I think it's really funny when you kind of draw long, skinny stick legs, especially on a bird that looks like it shouldn't have long legs. So have fun. Like, I invite you to play with proportion and make things like wildly out of proportion. If anything, it will make you laugh. Like, I'm cracking up at some of these birds and their little legs or their funky head feathers. It's all in good fun. So if the white paint for your eyes is dry, you can also start to add the pupils to them. And this part is excellent for adding personality and kind of like telling a little story. Like, if you make your bird's pupils look up, it can kind of make them look curious or like they're looking up at the other bird. And in that same vein, you can make them look left or right, which kind of could make them look like they're looking at each other and maybe having a little interaction or something going on there. Or if you do like a tiny little dot in the middle, that can make them look really surprised or like scared. You can even like further enhance the emotion of the bird by adding an eyebrow, which I know birds don't have eyebrows, but you can add like a slanted line for like an angry eyebrow, to like let the viewer know that your bird is mad, like this guy who's standing on this other bird's neck. So just go ahead and keep adding details until like you feel that you're at a good place and maybe it feels done. And yeah, I'm loving how these birds are coming out. I feel like they have so much personality in them. And that is it. You guys just filled an entire sketchbook spread with a colorful, quirky flock of imagination-fueled birds. But thank you so much for hanging out and making art with me. If you enjoy doing the project from this book, seriously consider getting the book because it's so good. I really love it. Or if you're looking for more awesome art books, be sure to check out my other video that has 5 time-saving art books for you to try. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. See you in the next video. Bye!